Fire tennis queens and David Beckham, epic new pics of Aryna Sabalenka and Maria Sharapova break the internet. High voltage sign hash. The internet has a peculiar rhythm. Most days, it scrolls quietly, scores, headlines, updates. But every so often, it combusts, set alight by a single moment, a single image. That moment arrived when photographs of Aryna Sabalenka, Maria Sharapova, and David Beckham, three titans from worlds of sport and style, emerged online. Not from a grand slam, not from a red carpet, but from a chance intersection of glamour, power, and charisma. Within hours, hashtags exploded. Twitter feeds spun into frenzy. Instagram reels multiplied like wildfire. The images weren't just pictures, they were a cultural detonation. Tennis royalty had collided with football nobility, and the result was a spectacle too intoxicating to ignore. Chapter 1. The setup nobody saw coming. The scene was Sao Paulo, not long after the tennis world had been shaken by underdog stories and rising stars. But this wasn't about titles or trophies. It was about presence. Aryna Sabalenka, the reigning powerhouse of women's tennis, arrived draped in confidence. Her outfits, a blend of athletic chic and couture, announced that she had graduated from being just a champion to being an icon. Her smile lit cameras. Her walk owned every frame. Maria Sharapova, five-time Grand Slam champion and eternal star, re-emerged like a queen who never abdicated her throne. Retired though she may be, Sharapova carried a timeless magnetism. Her return to any tennis-related stage sends ripples through fan bases that never stopped adoring her. And then, David Beckham, football's eternal gentleman, the former England captain, turned businessman and cultural ambassador, stepped into the frame like a bridge between generations, sports, and style. Beckham has long been more than an athlete. He's an emblem of elegance. No one had anticipated their convergence. Yet when it happened, the internet had no choice but to kneel. Chapter 2. The power of a picture. Why did these photos break the internet? Because they weren't just snapshots. They were symbols. One photo captured Sabalenka and Sharapova laughing, their heads tilted back, exuding effortless glamour. Another showed Beckham in conversation with them, his tailored suit clashing perfectly with their radiant athleticism. A third, the one that spread fastest, froze the trio mid-stride, walking like characters out of a cinematic trailer. The kind of image that begs for captions like power, grace, legacy. The internet, starved for icons in an era of fleeting trends, devoured it. Chapter 3. Sabalenka, the queen in ascendancy. For Aryna Sabalenka, these photos arrived at the crest of her career. Already a multiple Grand Slam winner, already world number one, she has become tennis's fiercest competitor and its boldest personality. But beyond her game, Sabalenka has cultivated a persona. Fearless, unfiltered, magnetic. She screams after winners, roars into crowds, and embraces the emotional chaos that defines her sport. That rawness, when juxtaposed with glamorized images beside Sharapova and Beckham, became irresistible. Sabalenka isn't just dominating tennis, one fan tweeted. She's dominating culture. The internet agreed. Chapter 4. Sharapova, the eternal star. Maria Sharapova may have retired in 2020, but the word retired hardly fits. She has remained relevant through fashion, entrepreneurship, and her trademark elegance. To see her alongside Sabalenka was more than nostalgia. It was a passing of torches, a blending of eras. For longtime fans, Sharapova represents memory. Wimbledon 2004. The audacity of a 17-year-old toppling Serena Williams. For younger ones, she's legend, someone whose name adorns the halls of history. When the pictures dropped, comments flooded with sentiments like, Maria never left. She's timeless. The queen and the heir, side by side. This is tennis royalty at its finest. Her aura remained untouchable. Chapter 5. Beckham, the gentleman connector. And then there was Beckham. Why did his presence matter so much? Because Beckham embodies the bridge between sport and culture. He is one of the few athletes whose name carries weight across generations and continents. His reputation, polished, suave, yet grounded, turns every interaction into spectacle. When he appeared alongside Sabalenka and Sharapova, it wasn't just three people in a photo. It was the convergence of universes, tennis royalty meeting football's global monarch. The fact that Beckham looked effortlessly at home among them only amplified the effect. His tailored look, his easy charisma, made him less guest, more co-star. Chapter 6. Social Media Eruption. The internet thrives on virality, and these pictures were built for it. Within an hour of release, Instagram was flooded. Comments ranged from disbelief to adoration. Is this a Marvel crossover I didn't know I needed? Sabalenka and Sharapova could headline a Vogue cover tomorrow. David Beckham is living every fan's dream right now. On Twitter, memes proliferated. One compared the trio to characters in a Netflix heist series. Another edited them into superhero costumes, calling them the Power Trinity. TikTok creators remixed the photos into dramatic edits, overlaying cinematic music. In 24 hours, the #tennisqueens trended globally. Chapter 7. Beyond the glamour. Yet beneath the glitter lies significance. These photos highlighted the growing fusion of sport and lifestyle. Athletes today aren't confined to courts or fields. They are cultural beacons, fashion leaders, and voices of influence. Sabalenka embodies raw dominance. Sharapova personifies elegance. Beckham represents global branding. Together, they reflected the future of sports celebrity, multidimensional, borderless, irresistible. For young fans, these images carried inspiration. For brands, they carried opportunity. For tennis, they carried a reminder. It remains one of the most glamorous sports on earth. Chapter 8. The conversations that followed. What did they talk about? The internet speculated endlessly. Some imagined Sharapova giving Sabalenka advice about longevity. Others pictured Beckham discussing global marketing strategies, or swapping stories about the grind of elite sport. Still others, in playful fantasy, suggested they were planning a new fashion line. Though no transcript exists, one thing was certain: the chemistry between them was natural. They weren't forced together. They looked like friends, equals, icons recognizing icons. Chapter 9. The fan divide. Not all reactions were unanimous, of course. Some fans debated the symbolism. Supporters of Serena Williams bristled at the tennis queen's label, reminding the world of her unmatched dominance. Purists grumbled that viral photos shouldn't eclipse on-court achievements. But the majority embraced it as harmless celebration. It wasn't about replacing legends. It was about honoring them in new ways. Chapter 10. Breaking the Internet. What it really means. The phrase break the internet is overused. But in this case, it fit. Engagement numbers soared. The trio's images racked millions of likes, thousands of shares, endless articles. Even mainstream outlets outside sports, fashion magazines, lifestyle blogs, celebrity sites, covered the story. It wasn't about tennis alone. It was about resonance. About how one picture can ripple across boundaries, uniting fans of sport, fashion, and culture under a single spell. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.